D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, in this episode, I am going to rank all of the MCU movies from my least favorite to my favorite. Now, I know that there's 20 movies to go through, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't really think that we should go through every single movie and tell you why I don't like it or why it's where it is. But what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to list the bottom 10 right here, and I'm just going to tell you, like, these, just because they're in the bottom 10 doesn't mean that they're not good, and it doesn't mean that I don't like them. It just means that I liked other movies better. And how I ranked these was I went from, I started with Iron Man, and then I went to the next one, which was the Incredible Hulk, and I just said, which one do I like more? Iron Man. And then I went to the next one, which I believe was Iron Man 2. I just said, which one did I like more? Iron Man or Incredible Hulk? I like Iron Man and Incredible Hulk more than I liked Iron Man 2, so Iron Man 2 goes on the bottom, and so on and so forth. And so these are the bottom 10, and just real quick of why they're on the bottom 10. Iron Man 3 is on the very bottom because I do not like this movie. It's my least favorite. I hate when they try to portray Christmas, say it's a Christmas movie and it's not a Christmas movie just because it's at Christmas and everything. The part with the kid the whole time was completely useless in my opinion, and I just don't like it. I also feel that this movie had a missed opportunity with the villain, and I just really didn't like the fact that it was whitewashed in the end. I mean, I know that the Chinese don't like Chinese people portrayed as villains, but I really feel like if you have somebody named the Mandarin and he's portrayed as a Chinese villain, that I really feel like this is a great opportunity for Asian representation. And what's wrong with playing a bad guy? I know if I was in a movie, I would want to be the bad guy. I'm sorry, but I think the bad guys have the best stories. I think they're so complex, and I think arguably heroes are defined by their villains. So who wouldn't want to be that? I mean, Chinese or not. So I just feel like that was a missed opportunity. Another one that I really feel like, Ant-Man is at the top of this list. I really love that movie. Below it is Ant-Man and the Wasp. That movie was good. I just really didn't think that it captured the same essence as the first one. And I really feel like the Wasp was not the best female portrayal of a character because she just felt like a mom the whole time, all moody and stuff. So let me get into my top 10. All right, and coming in at 10 is Black Panther. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset that it's not higher on the list because it is an all-black movie. That is a positive about it. It's all black. It's unapologetically black, and I love that about it. I thought that Okoye is just, in my opinion, she is arguably the best fighter in the MCU. I love Okoye. She is just awesome, and I hope that she's or Avengers 4 because she's just the best. But one of the negatives is it took a lot of black talent out of the picture for further MCU movies. I mean, you can't cast a lot of these people, and it's like, man, that sucks because some of these people are really great. One thing that really bothered me in the movie, Lupita Nyong'o's character should have died. When that car got blasted and she just rolls up in just the seat and the steering wheel. I understand these are comic book movies, but that part really bothered me because she should have died. I'm sorry. Like, there's no way that just the steering wheel and the chair would have been, and her would have been left. So that bothered me, but not like to the point where I dislike the movie. The movie is good. I think that the third act does have some problems, in it. I think that it has a lot of problems that other movies do in the third act, and I don't think that it delivered as much as people think it does, but I still think it's a good movie. Coming in at number 9 is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Now, I really did like this movie. It was a great sequel. It had really touching moments in it, even though it was, a comedy. I felt like the relationship between father and son was just great. That part where what's his face says he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. That part really got to me because, as a father, I mean, when you just love your kids and you could tell that he loved him and then he sacrifices himself. That's just really great. And of course it has funny moments, especially when he's like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Coming in at number 8 is SpiderMan Homecoming. Now, this movie was just so fantastic in my opinion. I mean, they did such a great job, even though it was basically Miles Morales, just Peter Parker. It was his story with Peter Parker in it. But I think that it had great casting. I mean, Zendaya, I'm not going to lie. When Zendaya got cast, I know a lot of people were upset that a black girl was going to be Mary Jane and everything. I don't care about that. I just didn't want Mary Jane in the movie at all. And Zendaya, I have to be honest, when they kept putting Zendaya and stuff, and I'm just like, why are they forcing this girl on us? I mean, she's not, like, so spectacular. But I have to tell you right now, she was great in the movie. She's so good in that movie, and I thought she did a great job, and I can't wait to see more of her, especially if you watch The Greatest Showman. She does a great job in there, and she's a good actress, and I hope to see her in more stuff. And I really do feel like this was a fresh take on the Spider-Man character, even though they just pretty much stole a lot of stuff from Miles Morales, and I hope that he shows up later on in these movies, because that would be just great. I would be so happy. Coming in at number 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, this movie, of course, was funny. It was, a great intro to these characters. Me personally, when I heard this movie was going to be made, I was like, was anybody really hankering for a Guardians of the Galaxy movie? I mean, nobody knows these characters. I barely know these characters and everything. And then, I thought the casting of John Batista would be awful. I'm like, who is this? He's a wrestler? Please, wrestlers can't act. I mean, come on. But no, totally blew me away. I love that. I think that they did great. Rocket is just the best, and Groot. How do you not love Groot? So I just really think that that was a great movie, and just definitely is my opinion is at number 7. Coming in at number 6 was Thor Ragnarok. Now, this movie was the best Thor movie. I mean, it was fake. It was funny, and I really think it was great that they took the comedic route with this movie. And to me, out of the 3 Thor movies, I really feel like this is the start of a new trilogy, not at the end of a trilogy, and everything. And I think it's the best out of all 3 of those movies, and I really hope that he doesn't die in Avengers 4, and I really hope that they bring Thor back in another solo movie, because I really feel like now they really touched into Chris's comedic side, and I really hope that they explore that, because if you see, when he's funny, I think that's when he's his best, when he's doing comic roles. And a great also representation of that is when he's in that Team Thor movie that it played at Comic-Con and everything, and it was so funny and everything. Okay, coming in at number 5 is Captain America Winter Soldier. Now, I love this movie. I mean, I love espionage, and I think that this movie captures the perfect mixture of a espionage movie and that whole political espionage with comic book movie. I think it does a great mixture of it, and I think it brings it to the screen perfectly. The Russo brothers really tapped into something there, and I think that they deserve an applause for it. And I mean, right now, their movies are all on the top of at the top of my list, not at the bottom. But I also have to say, that car chase scene with Nick Fury, that scene alone puts it in the top 5. I mean, it's so good, and I love, that's my favorite scene in that movie, even though, that fight at the end with Falcon is just so good. Coming in at number 4 is Doctor Strange. Now, I love magic. I find it very fascinating. I don't believe in all that stuff, but I love it. I think it's so great, and the world building with it is just so great, and I think that this movie was such a great introduction to actual magic. I know that the MCU likes to say, especially with Thor, that magic is just science that we haven't learned yet, but I think that it's magic. Magic is magic. So I think that this was a great introduction to it. Also with Doctor Strange, what I was worried about was the fact that if of all the promotional stuff, I was afraid that this was just going to be an Inception ripoff, because they had the collapsible buildings in there, and they had all this different stuff, and I was just afraid that they were going to take that movie, take the concepts of it, and just copy it full-fledged. I mean, even the posters, they copied a bunch of stuff, or stuff that looked like it. Maybe they were inspired, and I just didn't like it. So, but when the movie came out, it's just so good. It's just so good, and I love it. And I really hope they do a number 2 in Phase 4, because I think Doctor Strange deserves another solo movie, at least one more, but even 2. I would go with 2 and everything. So coming in at number 3 is Avengers. Now, this one is at the top of in the top 3 because I mean it's the first time that we get to see the team together, and it's just when they do that circle scene and then show all the characters, that scene is just so great. I mean, it's so iconic and everything. And this is just the culmination of a bunch of solo movies coming together to bring this team together. And plus, it's a good movie. I mean, like it's a simple plot, but it's still good. It's so good. I still love that movie, and I could totally watch it again today. Coming in at number 2 was Captain America Civil War. Now, basically, this is just Avengers 3, but I really think that the Russo brothers, it was going to be a Captain America movie, and then, the Russo brothers brought the Civil War idea, and they took the comic book, and I think they adapted it to where they could put it on screen and in a really good way. So coming in at number 1 is, of course, you guessed it, Avengers Infinity War. Now, I have to be honest with you. When I started sitting down making this list, I didn't want this movie to be number 1. And the reason I didn't want it to be number 1 is because I didn't want it to be like, this is the obvious choice for number 1. But I went into the movie opening weekend, and I had went and seen it on Sunday of opening weekend. So I had read, I'm a big spoiler person. I love spoilers. You can tell me the whole movie, and I will go in, and I will still love it. So when I went into this, I knew all the spoilers. I knew everything that was going to happen. And I was still surprised when it happened. Like, when Gamora gets thrown off that thing, I was just like, you gotta be freaking kidding me with this stuff. When Iron Man gets stabbed, I was like, I know he's not gonna die, but he's gonna die and everything. This movie is so good, and the Russo brothers, I really wish they would do more with the MCU, because they really know what they're doing, and I feel like they really know these kind of characters, and I really think that they bring something that a lot of these other directors don't bring to the characters. But I really feel like this movie is just the best one. Like, Thanos is such a great bad guy. It was huge. I mean, like, you had all these characters coming together, and then that ending scene, you're like, I had read who got saved and who died, who got turned to ash, but the whole time watching it, I was like, I forgot who gets turned to ash, and I was like, no, not Doctor Strange, no, not Spider-Man. And then when Groot dies, and then he says, I am Groot, and then you find out later from James Gunn that his last word was Dad, and he's talking to Rocket. I mean, come on, when you go back and watch that, it is like, oh my goodness, like, tear, like, cannot handle it, and everything. All right, so I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on my list, but tell me what you think. What is your ranking for these movies? Did you think that my list was good? Do you agree with me with some of my points? Do you disagree with me? Go ahead and leave your comments in the section down below. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will check you guys later. Bye.